All right, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker for tonight, if everybody can bring it down a notch. Thank you very much. Our guest speaker tonight, our keynote speaker, will be Coach Richard Bailey. I'm sure most everybody has heard that name a few times. Coach Bailey has led the Fighting Scots for 7 seasons. 6 of those seasons, they wound up as conference champions. He came to Scotland County after being at Jack Britt High School for 12 years and leading them to 3 championship games and a number of, I'm sure, a number of conference titles. And he was the first coach. He was the coach that started that football program at Jack Britt. So we're very, very fortunate to get him here back in, what year was it, 2000, whatever, 11. 12, all right, so you guys know all that. But he did lead the Scots to 6 conference championships, 3 times going to state championship games, 3 times taking Jack Britt to state championship games. So in 19 years of coaching, his team was in state championship game 6 times. You do know that there are a lot of high school coaches that go through their entire career and never go to a state championship game. He's a very winning coach, as you know, and last year he was the coach of the Miracle Scots, if you'll recall. I remember hearing him at the beginning of the season sort of trying to, let us down easy and say, well, don't expect too much this year. They're back in the state championship again. So we appreciate Coach Bailey, and what I really appreciate about him is the fact that even though he's one of the winningest high school coaches around, he's more concerned about the character of his players than he is about winning. And that's to be commended. So I would like to introduce Coach Richard Bailey.
When Chris first asked me to do this, it was right after the state championship game, and I wasn't really sure how I'd go about doing it or really what he wanted me to say. And I asked my wife for a little advice. I said, what should I do? And she said, well, don't try to go in there and be too funny. Don't try to be real smart. Don't try to be too intellectual. She said, just be yourself. Somehow I don't think that was a compliment. And then I talked a little more with Chris, and he said, really what I want you to do is kind of give a speech in the style of a pregame, or a preseason meeting with your players. They say you're supposed to, when you're nervous, you're supposed to envision the audience like naked. First of all, that's not a very good image, Preacher Paul. Okay? But I do a lot better if everybody had football helmets on. You guys smell a lot better and look a lot better than who I'm usually talking to. I'm usually talking to a bunch of football players, a bunch of football coaches. This isn't my normal audience. But Chris said, give it like it's a big game, pregame speech. You're talking to your kids or you're talking to the coaches and you're trying to get them motivated about coming together for a big game. And so I said, okay, well, I'm gonna have to get into sort of form for that to happen. I've never given a pregame speech with a business suit on, and I got my whistle, got in my pocket. I got to get a little bit into character for this. And I told the man, I said, I can't speak up behind the podium. I've never done that. You got to be able to walk and work the crowd a little bit. And so what he wanted me to talk about is my vision for Scotland County, or my vision for our football program. And here's what I know for a fact. There's basically 4 things. I'm going to talk about 4 things. The first thing is you have to have a goal. You got to have a vision. You got to have, my son's goes to South Scotland. They have the little 7 habits of successful students. And one of them is you got to begin with the end in mind. You got to think about where you're trying to get to. And of course, with us in the football program, we're trying to win conference championships. We're trying to win state championships. We're trying to be the best football team we can be. At the same time, build tremendous character in our football players so they can be positive citizens in our community. But when I think about it as with this group, we're talking about what is our vision of Scotland County? What do we want it to look like? And we want it to be a place we can all be proud of. Whether you're just starting out in life and you're raising small children, Or maybe you're just ending up in life and you're looking for a place to retire and sort of live out those last years and just really enjoy that part of your life, or all ages in between. You know, we want to be a place where we feel great about the education system. We feel great about the medical care we can get. We feel great about being safe and our kids having places to play, and that we just feel like it's a nurturing place where everybody cares about each other. I think that's the vision of everybody in this room. Am I wrong? That's what we want. That's what we want. Amen. Amen. But I know this for a fact. You know, if you're just dreaming it and wishing it, but you don't have a goal without a plan is just a wish. You know, think about it. A goal, you know, everybody can say they want to win a state championship. You know, the tuba player in the band would like to win a state championship. But are we willing to do the things it takes to get there? Are you willing to make the sacrifices to reach that goal, to reach that vision of this Scotland County that we can all be proud of? And so you got to come up with a plan. So the first thing is you got to have a goal, you got to have a vision. Second thing, you better have a plan. You better have a plan. And you better be committed to that plan. You better be willing to work every day to try to execute that plan. And you better believe in it. And sometimes you got to block out the noises from the critics. And you got to believe in that inner voice. I tell people all the time, if I listen to those fans too much, I'm going to be sitting up there with them. You know, I'm not saying we don't have to take advice from others and lean on people we believe in and trust in. And obviously sometimes, you know, it looks like we got a long way to go. I tell people all the time, we were 3-4, lost my quarterback, lost my right tackle, lost my running back, lost my starting inside linebacker. Heck, I lost 6 coaches before the season started, including my offensive coordinator 2 days before our first game. You know, things weren't looking real good. And I was recycling some plans. But then as the season went on, you know, it still looked like a long ways to get to a state championship. It really did. And it may look or appear to us that we have a long ways to go in Scotland County. And sometimes we get so caught up in looking forward that we don't take the time to look behind us and see how far we've come and see all the positive things that are going on in our community. And I think, you know, some people, you know, I've heard people speak, you know, you got to rip the rear view mirror off, you know, and just full steam ahead. No, I think sometimes you need to stop and smell the roses. Sometimes you need to look behind you and see just how, you know, just the wonderful things that are going on in our community. You know, things like the 'Tis the Season group. I mean, that group of women, I don't even know if you guys know about them women. Hey, you talking about some people that believed in themselves? I'm not going to lie to you. I was one of them. They started putting them Christmas trees and them ornaments downtown. I was like, somebody getting ready to have some good decorations in their house, because I don't believe them trees are going to last very long down here. I'm going to tell you, I was a little worried. But it was unbelievable, and the overwhelming response I got from people in the community and you know, my family when they came to visit. They're like, man, downtown looks awesome. And I'm like, yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, I was surprised. So great job, obviously. And, you know, we got, you know, so many other organizations, the Committee of 100, that try to go out there and bring businesses into our community and try to drum up, you know, industry to create jobs here. I think our Parks and Recs just got an award for some Dixie Youth softball, like a national award for our Parks and Recs. That's unbelievable. And, you know, I think the Business Advisory Council, I think it's called, where you got community leaders and you got the educational people working together to try to make sure we're graduating students that are ready to go into the workforce. All those things are just unbelievable. And more importantly, hey, we just opened a Hardee's in downtown Laurinburg. My wife don't cook, so that's good for me. I got at least one more option to eat at. Sorry, honey. Sorry. We did eat there last night, though. We really did. That's a true statement. And so there's so many positive things. And again, sometimes that journey looks long, and we got a long way to go. But sometimes we need to stop and really appreciate the things that are really going right in our community. And so I think that's important. And I tell people, we can't change the beginning, but we can surely start right now and change the ending. You know, when things were going wrong in our football season, I couldn't change Bruce Wall tearing his ACL and the other people getting hurt. I couldn't change that, but I could do something about moving forward. And we in this community, people in this room, we can do a lot about what's going forward from this point. And so I think that's important. So, again, you got to have a vision. Then you better have a plan. You better believe in that plan. I tell people, you know, When we're playing football, you know who wins the fight? The one that believes in it the most, but then believes in it the longest. Everybody's fired up on the first kickoff. How long are you willing to fight for it? How long are you willing to commit to it? And that's really, really important. And then the third thing I want to speak about is getting everybody in the boat. I use this analogy a lot with our football team, is getting everybody on board, getting all the stakeholders involved. In football, it's easy. It's the coaches, it's the players, it's the cheerleaders, it's the churches that feed us every Friday night. It's Preacher Paul coming out and speaking to our team. It's the training staff, it's the principal, it's the administration, it's the cheerleaders, if I didn't already mention them. Those are our stakeholders, okay? In our community, though, we're talking about our business leaders, our governmental leaders, the hospital, the real estate people, the churches, all the people, the police, the fire department. We all have our hand in this. Everybody in this room has a chance to impact our community to make this a better place. And so I think we got to try to reach out and get everybody in the boat, so to speak. And then we got to make sure everybody, it's one thing to be in the boat, but we got to be rowing the same way. And I tell people when my football team, I need you in the boat, but we need to be rowing the same way. Okay, I tell people I'll take 25 people rowing the same direction over 100 people rowing different directions. If you're doing that, the boat's just spinning around. We got to get in the boat and we got to row it the same way so we can get to where we want to be, where we can get to that great Scotland County that we all want. And so we need everybody to get in the boat, all right? And I do believe once you're in the boat, and I really believe this, and this will go against the grain a little bit, is a little bit of individual selfish, a little bit. Everybody needs to be motivated. You guys are business people. I want you to be motivated. I'm a social studies teacher. Adam Smith, The Wealth of Nations, talks about capitalism. Greed is good. Okay, that sounded bad, but greed is good. Because when businesses go out and prosper, they create jobs, they provide services, they bring people here. And I want my wide receiver to want to catch passes. Now, we don't throw it a lot, but I want him to catch it. I want him to want to catch it. I want my running back to want the ball. I want my defensive players to make interceptions, to want to get sacks. I want them to think about individual glory, because when they do that, our team's better. Our team's better. And now, don't do that to the detriment of the team. Don't try to make millions of dollars in your industries but not give back to our community. We don't want you to do that. But I do think everybody in here, if we're motivated to be successful, we're all going to be successful. And there's enough business to go around. I'm pretty sure Chris and Jim are pretty good buddies. And you know what? They both they make the same stuff. But there's enough to go around. Sometimes I go to Scotland Bling and buy sometimes I go to Shirt Tails. There's enough to go around. And I just really believe that if we can help everybody be prosperous, we're all going to prosper. I told somebody I went to Fayetteville the other day to buy carpet. And I went to this little carpet place that had been recommended to me, and they didn't have what we wanted, did they, honey? But you know what that woman did? She recommended me to her competitor that had the carpet. And I went over there and got it. I said, you know what, though? The next time I buy a carpet, I'm going back to that woman that recommended me to the other place, because she had integrity. She was trying to please the consumer. And that spoke to me. I said, you know what, that's pretty good. And she didn't have to do that, but she was trying to help me out. And so she saw the big picture. The more successful people we got in this room, the more people come to Scotland County, the better off we all are. Everybody here. Because I'm telling you, my wife never just goes one place to shop. If she has a place to bring her somewhere, she's going to shop there, but she's going to pass some other store and say, you know what, that store looks pretty good too, I'm going to go in there. And so everybody's got to be involved. Everybody's got to have a piece in it. But we all got to have the big picture in mind of a great Scotland County and everybody rowing that boat the same direction. And then the last thing is, and now this one's a little bit negative. I don't like to end on a negative, but I'll try to turn it around at the end, is you got to get rid of the hole drillers. Now, what I mean by that is this. Sometimes I feel like we got everybody in that boat, and we just to roll out, I feel like George Washington crossing the Delaware. I'm like, stroke, stroke. And then I look back there, and there's some guy in the back drilling a daggone hole in my boat. Now, he's in the boat, but I don't think he's helping me out a whole lot. And sometimes here we got a lot of people in this community that they'll come to events like this and they'll be all in. Clemson talks, that's their saying, all in. And they're all about it. But then the next thing you know, they're on Facebook talking about something that happened bad. They had a bad experience in the school. So now the whole school's bad. Or they had a bad experience at the hospital, so everything's bad at the hospital. Or something went on in some business, they didn't get good service. So now, social media is the greatest thing in the world, and it's the absolute worst thing that's happened in my lifetime. Hey, on a positive, we raised $6,000 in 2 days to buy our kids uniforms or windsuits to wear at the state championship. It took 2 days, and that was the power of social media. Unbelievable. But it only takes about 2 minutes to ruin people in a community when everybody gets on there and everybody wants the misery, and it's always about, and I don't get on it hardly at all. There's only a little bit of truth in that. But guys, when we're running down our own community, that's not enticing anybody to come here. We need to talk to each other, not about each other. Hey, you know what I'm saying? We got to cooperate and collaborate and quit marginalizing and separating people. That's what we need to do. And sometimes, everybody's had a bad experience at some time in their lives. We're all in service type of industries. I'm a school teacher. I'm providing a service. There's probably some kid I maybe didn't give him my best one day. But I'd hate to know that made me an awful school teacher. I kind of take pride in that. My mom would be awful disappointed if I wasn't giving my best every day. So would Mr. Ekins. I'm trying to do the best I can. And so, again, we want them in the boat. If they're not in our boat to begin with, we probably don't want them. But if you're going to be in the boat, you don't need to be in the back of the boat drilling holes in it. You need to be back there rowing and everybody working together. Because I promise you guys, if everybody's working together and we got all the stakeholders involved, we keep that vision, we keep the end in mind, we stay committed to that plan no matter how hard it is. I tell people, Rachel Burris, we did a professional development thing, and I paid attention, Dr. Hargrave, one of them PDs. I did now. I was in the front row. And she talked about the power of yet, the growth mindset, the power of yet. I never thought about it. And I've used it with my football team 100 times. I haven't won a state championship yet. And I don't ever want to hear my football players that say they can't do something. I don't want anybody in this room to say Scotland County can't do something. No, we just haven't done it yet. We just haven't done it yet because we're capable of it, and that's a powerful word. Don't put the most powerful thing in this world is a made-up mind. The guy that thinks he can and the guy that thinks he can't, they're both right. But don't ever, it's yet. The power of yet. So again, have a vision, have a plan, believe in that plan, be committed to that plan. Then get everybody in the boat, use everybody's best talents, and then at the end of the day, let's either motivate those people that are drilling holes to get back in the boat and be positive, or maybe we got to, I don't know. Sometimes you got to throw them over the side. But I promise you this, guys, if we do that and we keep rowing together, we're going to make Scotland County a great place and a place that we're all proud of like I am. And I wish everybody in this room the very, very best. And if I can do anything to help anybody here, tomorrow night I'm getting a pied in the face at Jack Britt basketball game. So I'm willing to do about anything to help this community. And I appreciate everybody. And I appreciate Chris having me do this and hope that was good enough. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
I really don't know how to follow that up, other than I don't think I have to tell anybody in this room to get on the boat. But what I will tell you, if you see that guy drilling the hole, throw him off the boat. Great job, Coach. I want to call you back up here. Not as much as I am, trust me. You're talking about ripping the rearview mirror off. Well, obviously, me being a past player at Scotland High School, I look back and I dwell on some of my time there.
That's right.
And I think about the direction you have put this team in, and I would have given my left pinky to play in a system like you have developed here. So thank you.
Thank you.
We love you. I've got something.
Uh-oh, what you got? I'm a little worried now with unexpected things. Uh-oh.
So on October 25th, Coach Bailey won his 200th game at Scotland High School. I'm going to hijack the meeting for a little bit longer here, so bear with me. Again, I want to compliment Coach Bailey. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. You hit a home run, man. Great job. I want to thank Rick and Peggy Davis and Rick's Catering. I've got nothing but rave reviews tonight. Also, thank them for the flowers and the centerpieces. If anybody wants to take a centerpiece home, please do so. Don't fight over them. Just work it out between the tables. I also want to thank my friend Bob Dean and Art by Design for the framing of Coach Bailey's gift. I want to thank Jason Watson and Live Media. And Coach, if I'd have known your presentation was going to be that good, this would have went live on Facebook. I also want to thank Trophy World and John Campbell for the awards tonight. And I want to thank our annual dinner committee, which is my good friend Kirsten Dean. She is the chair. Kim Lyles, Jay Todd, and Matt Prock. And also want to thank our chamber staff, Kay Bowie and Miss Jennifer Mcclain. Our next presentation was supposed to be given by Mr. Mark Reef of Mount Air Farms. Mark had a hearing that he had to be at tonight in Siler City. And Mark, I don't know if you were here last year, Mark presented the Better Carolina Award to Miss Brenda Gilbert. And we wanted Mark to come tonight and present that award again to some very deserving folks. But I'm going to call on Mr. Guy McCook to give that presentation. Oh, there you are. You sure did. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. You know, we live in a great community, and Richard, you said everything I believe about this community, and thank you very much for your commitment to it. So tonight I get to present the Mount Air Farms Better Carolina Award. And ladies, you'll have to excuse me for maybe copyright infringements, but you'll understand in just a minute. In November of 2017, a group of ladies from Scotland County discussed past Christmas parades and childhood memories of past Christmases in Laurinburg. These four ladies were determined to create an inspired Christmas for their community for the upcoming holiday season, and the idea of 'Tis the Season was born. With absolutely no money, a lot of dreams, and a fierce sense of determination to succeed, the four women began canvassing the community for support, both personal and financial. They managed to buy an expensive ice skating rink even before they had raised any money. And this transaction was negotiated and finalized with a handshake and a promise to pay for it one day, and it's now been paid for in full. And if you know Terry very well, you know why all that happened. They developed a mission statement to create a positive and unified community with a vibrant and beautiful downtown, a vision statement, goals, and a budget. And from there, they developed committees for each of the activities that were included in their plan for the holiday. An office was established across the street from the city's administrative building, which proved to be a tremendous asset for them. And it was dubbed the North Pole, and this location became the center of operations and planning for the 'Tis the Season project. They were advised by the city to form a nonprofit entity, which was accomplished in June of 2018, and it didn't take them long to realize that they needed to have the confidence necessary to operate the organization, and so it was off to Richmond Community College to attend courses on grant writing and the nuts and bolts of running a nonprofit organization. They began by making presentations to approximately 25 civic and government groups and to explain their plan and solicit support. The four ladies were aware that many people thought they were crazy to undertake a project of this magnitude, and they understood that most people expected their enthusiasm to wane with time. Fortunately for us, as a community, the public greatly underestimated the tenacity of these four committed women. As barriers were identified, they put their heads together and came up with a solution to either go over, around, or under whatever the barrier happened to be. And they refused to listen to the naysayers who repeatedly wanted to tell them things like, the Christmas decorations are going to go to somebody's house, or we've tried this before and it didn't work. The lack of resources was identified as a major hurdle, and yet fundraising was the one thing which each of the four did not like very much. Begging for money was not their forte, and yet it was necessary for their success. So they quickly decided they needed a revenue stream to help minimize the funding needed from outside sources, so they decided to start up a Christmas specialty shop, which opened on October the 19th. They found that knocking down walls and doing demolition work to the space on Main Street was a lot more fun than asking people for money, but much to their surprise, this proved to be an overwhelming success, both financially and increasing traffic to the downtown area. At the same time, plans were made to decorate downtown for Christmas. They purchased 11,000 linear feet of lighting to install throughout the downtown historic district. Storefront windows were decorated by volunteers inside and out, and 86 Christmas trees were installed downtown, which were purchased and decorated by local businesses. Wi-Fi was installed in order to play Christmas carols over wireless speakers purchased by the 'Tis the Season group, along with 14 snow-blowing machines. The community's response was both humbling and overwhelming, as they were brought to tears on several occasions. Throughout the holiday season, carolers in period attire strolled the sidewalks, a community tree lighting ceremony was held, and a video tribute to local soldiers was played during the ceremony. A platform was built for an outdoor singing Christmas tree comprised of 125 singers, and it was designed by local professionals and constructed by local contractors, all of whom volunteered their efforts, and the sound and lighting was provided by a local entertainment company. Prior to the commencement of the music, a video was played on the back wall of the A.B. Gibson Center that was recorded in May and was an oral history from approximately 50 local citizens as they reflected on their childhood memories of Christmases past in Laurinburg. A Kids' Day Out was held on December 15th for children to participate in arts and crafts, have lunch with Santa, and watch a Christmas movie. The last event to occur was a live nativity play performed by local citizens, and local musicians and singers entertained while people waited to be escorted as a group to the site of the play. While the weather may not have cooperated much this season, it did not dampen their spirits. It rained 7 consecutive weekends in November and December, requiring several events to be canceled, and which also delayed the opening of the ice skating rink. The number of volunteers involved in making 'Tis the Season a success was tremendous. Without the volunteers and without financial support within the community, this would not have been possible. The support from city administration, local businesses, and volunteers was incredible. 'Tis the Season gave people who were yearning for ways to reminisce about memories from Christmases past the opportunity to regain a sense of pride in their hometown. With all the downtown lights and decorations, people once again returned to their downtown to shop and visit with friends. For many of us, it made Christmas come to life once again. These four women who dared to dream big have done more to create unity and pride in our community than any of us has ever imagined. We in our community owe them a debt of gratitude for their inspiring, unselfish service and commitment to making our community everything we dream it can be, and for making Carolina, North Carolina, and Scotland County a better place to live. In recognition for their efforts, the following ladies, Terry Parker as director, Carol Cohenauer as co-chair, Janice Creed as co-chair, and Cynthia Wammel as secretary, are awarded the Mount Air Farms Better Carolina Award for 2019.
That's the first.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'm going to call Gary Gallman back to the stage.
Thank you, Chris. It's hard to believe that it's been a year since Matt Proct took over as chair of the chamber. Seems like no time at all until I think of all that has been accomplished since then. It's had to have taken some time, so even though it seemed to go by fast, it's been a good year. And so I want to introduce now the 2018 chairman of the board of the Laurinburg, Scotland County Area Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Matt Proct.
Coach Bailey, you stole my speech. But I'm going to proceed anyway. But first, I have a couple things to do first. One of the first things I have to do is the board has to say farewell to one of its board members. Being a board member is very important to our chamber, of course, and this individual is no exception for what he has given and continues to give to the chamber. He joined the board in 2012 and then quickly became so involved that they said, hey, this guy needs to be tapped in for the executive committee of the board and then ultimately chair of the board of the Chamber of Commerce. So we'd like to welcome John Ferguson up here so we can give him a farewell gift, please. Next, we'd like to recognize the new members who are present, new members of the Chamber of Commerce. Please stand when I call your name, and then you can hold your applause till I'm finished. So first, we have Dr. Fred and Lynn Mabry, Charles and Ann Todd, the Hampton Inn, Lumbee Guarantee Bank, Robeson Healthcare, 'Tis the Season, and lastly, Weekend Warrior. Let's welcome all the new members of the Chamber. You know, we want to welcome each of you. There are many advantages that come with a Chamber membership. These include joining a committee and also participating in events that we offer, such as this, so that not only are you able to see other people, but they're also able to see you. So thank you very much for your investment in the Chamber. All right, here we go. I want to welcome all our elected officials present tonight, our honored guests, and all our Chamber members who chose to be here tonight. Once again, it was wonderful to see such a remarkable turnout tonight. Thank you for attending our annual meeting. The Chamber had what I summarize as a very successful year. We led, assisted, and in at least one instance, followed the direction of other leaders in our efforts to advance the growth of commerce and goodwill for the Laurinburg and Scotland County area. Let me take a moment to list some of these activities, and as I do, I ask you to reflect and see whether one or more of these was an event in which you participated. 5 different organizations comprised of the Arts Council, City of Laurinburg, Scotland Memorial Foundation, Scotland Parks and Recreation, and the Chamber came together in April to put on Springfest, with the Chamber kicking off this event with Laurinburg After 5. After a hiatus of many years, Laurinburg After 5 was once again held downtown, and we can all agree it was fantastic. I could not count the number of people who approached me the next day and weeks following who said, "We have got to move this event downtown from now on." In July, nearly 50 teams came to Laurinburg and Scotland County to participate in the Dixie Youth State Softball Tournament. The Scotland County Parks and Recreation Department did a fantastic job coordinating activities to welcome these visitors, and the Chamber did its part with another Laurinburg After 5. In September, we are also happy to close the Laurinburg After 5 session back downtown with Jim Quick and the Coastline Band. I want to especially thank the City of Laurinburg and the Fire Department for making that event such a success. By participating in efforts with the Downtown Advisory Council, we helped to bring the focus of the asset we have in our city. An example of this was the Insanatorium Haunted House held in October. We had a great turnout and much fun was had by all the participants. In conjunction with the Economic Development Corporation, the Committee of 100 was reinvigorated. Nearly 70 members gathered at Cypress Bend Vineyards for a cookout as we celebrated the commitment to our initiative to help drive growth in our local economy. I want to thank everyone who helped make the Committee of 100 happen. And while I'm talking about economic growth, we held 9 business after hours and 9 ribbon cuttings, celebrating our member businesses. 4 of these ribbon cuttings were downtown Laurinburg, and 1 was downtown Gibson. The Government Affairs Committee held 2 candidate forums, one held at St. Andrews University in the spring, and the other held at Scotland Arts Council in October. In November, we again had the Oyster Roast at St. Andrews Equestrian Center. And what can I say about that event other than you had to be there? And if you have never attended, I strongly encourage that you do so someday. In December, we celebrated the holiday with the Christmas parade in conjunction with 'Tis the Season, which is a separate group from the Chamber, and one that all of us were amazed to see in action. 'Tis the Season did a fantastic job, and those individuals deserve another round of applause. We are so grateful to the sponsors and volunteers who put on all of our events. Without you, these would not happen. And here we are tonight, in this our 80th year and annual dinner, where we celebrate our members and recognize a couple of the multitude of individuals who make this community a special place that it is. The theme we set for last year was, "We are better together." Did we attain this objective? Were we better together? It was a lofty goal, but I have to say, I think we did pretty well. There is still a lot of work to be done, but that is something we're going to continue on in the future. I want to thank the Chamber Board and committees for their work accomplished. And I especially want to thank the Chamber's employees, Jennifer McCrae, Kay Bowie, and Chris English. You're the bomb. None of this could have happened without your work. Thank you. So. Okay. Next, we get to recognize the volunteers and the important role that they play. And the first set of volunteers we're going to go through are all our committee chairs. So as I say your committee and your name, please stand. First, we have the ambassadors, Kim Lyles. The annual meeting, Kirsten Dean. The Christmas parade, Dorothy Tyson. Communications, Meredith Bounds. Governmental Affairs, Kevin Patterson. The Green Committee, J.R. Horn. Laurinburg After 5, Francis Willis. Leadership Scotland, Megan Harvey. Oyster Roast, Mary Sue Raybon. And last, YPN, Liza Purcell. Let's give them all a round of applause. Thank you. And next, I would like to recognize and welcome to the stage Liza Purcell, who's the head of the YPN.
Thank you, Matt. This is a little tall for me. But good evening, everyone. I'm Liza Purcell, and I'm the incoming chair of the Young Professionals Network Scotland. For those of you who are not familiar with our group, I'd like to take a few minutes to explain who we are and what we do. YPN Scotland is a social and professional organization for young professionals who either live or work in our community. Our primary mission is to provide a network in which this age group can interact and make meaningful contributions to Scotland County. Our program is structured around the motto, work, play, give. We recognize the importance of career development, enjoying life outside of work, and supporting causes that help build up our community. Our events focus on these values, all the while cultivating meaningful relationships with our peers. To give you an idea of what our program looks like, I'd like to tell you about a few of the events we will hold this year. In late February, we'll have our 2019 kickoff event to socialize and discuss our plans for the year. This is a great opportunity for potential new members to learn about YPN and meet some of our current members. Please join us if you're interested and encourage the young professionals in your businesses and social circles to join us too. We also plan to host our annual kickball game versus the Richmond Young Professionals. We're currently 0-2 in this series, so if you or anyone you know is a talented kickball player, please come talk to us. We'll volunteer for the spring litter sweep, and we hope to help out at the Highland Games again this year. And we've also partnered with the Arts Council to bring a series of live music shows to downtown Laurinburg. YPN also hosts lunch meetups that feature a chance to socialize, as well as programs from local organizations and businesses. Our meetings are a great way to spread the word about causes or businesses, so if you are seeking volunteers or patrons, we would love to work with you on a YPN event. More information on our events can be found at the Chamber office, our Facebook page, or there is a table full of YPN members in the back corner over here, and we'd love for you to stop by and visit with us. We're always seeking new members, and I hope that everyone here this evening will take a moment to think of at least one person in the community that may be looking for a social group, career development opportunities, or a chance to give back to the community. I'd like to say a big thank you to Sam Fulton for his leadership over the past 3 years, as well as to the Chamber of Commerce and the numerous local businesses that have supported YPN Scotland since it began. I know many of you are here this evening, and I would like to express our sincere appreciation for your support. Thank you.
Okay, you've heard it over and over tonight. Volunteer, volunteer, volunteer. So now we get to recognize our 2018 Volunteer of the Year Award. The 2018 Volunteer of the Year for the Chamber nominee should be committed to the mission of the Laurinburg, Scotland County Area Chamber of Commerce. The nominee should have demonstrated a genuine personal effort to actively carry out our specific responsibilities pertaining to the goals and objectives of one or more of the various committees, events, or functions of the Chamber during the 2018 program year, which ended December 31. The 2018 Volunteer of the Year has been an active member of the Christmas Parade, Oyster Roast, and Laurinburg After 5 committees, or as a volunteer of the Chamber Green Team. This volunteer has attended many Chamber events and has invested countless hours, energy, and personal expense to make sure the Chamber events are successful. He is one of the founding committee members of the Oyster Roast Committee, and he loves collecting cardboard. Yes, I said that, and it is true. He loves trash talking litter bugs and yanking Chris's chain every chance he gets. Please wish me, I want to welcome, and please welcome, Mr. Bill Raybon for his many years of contributions to the stage. Thank you. If you've ever been to the Chamber Oyster Roast, there is cardboard on every table, and this man starts collecting November 6th for the November 5th Oyster Roast. Tremendous. Okay, moving right along. We now get to recognize our incoming Chamber Chair. Will you please welcome Mr. Jay Todd to this podium.
Thank you. I'll tell you, if I could do half the job that Matt has done this year, I'll count it a success. So thank you, Matt. I think he deserves another round of applause. All right, we have some fun stuff remaining. So the first duty that I've got this year is to recognize a small business of 2018. So I'm very excited to do that. These businesses, the small and large business, have given their time and resources to the community, usually more than just this past year. Had many good nominations, so it's really tough. But the 2018 Business of the Year honors go to local businesses made some significant contributions to the community and have served Scotland County in exceptional ways for over 5 years. Candidates for the awards must be members of the Laurinburg Scotland County Area Chamber of Commerce, maintain successful best business practices, be established in the Scotland County area, provide support and participation in community events. Small businesses are defined as a company with less than 20 employees. This year, small business has been serving the folks of Scotland County since 1962. Like your first cup of coffee in the morning, the people of Scotland County wake up to this business product every day. Some of us can't live without it. For over 56 years, they've made significant contributions to Scotland County by being the voice of Scotland County. They have brought our children's voices into our homes every morning and delivered the play-by-play of Fighting Scots football on Friday nights. They have kept us informed and entertained with our own morning talk show, Live on Main. So please join me to show our appreciation by honoring Hometown Radio WLNC 95.1 with our 2018 Small Business of the Year. Our 2018 Business of the Year honors presented to a local business that has made significant contributions to the community and has served the Scotland County area in exceptional ways since the early 1900s. For over a century, this Business of the Year has led the charge of innovation, growth, and philanthropy in Scotland County. They've been a major contributors to St. Andrews University, Scotland County United Way, and our local scouting program. They also encourage their employees to give back to the community. They've been instrumental in the success of the Scotland Memorial Hospital and Scotland Healthcare System. They've also been instrumental in the development and success of Scotia Village. Under the corporate umbrella of this valued community partner are several quality businesses that could each qualify for Business of the Year. Those businesses include Scottish Food Systems, Southeast Farm Equipment, Quality Oil, and Pates Farms. Please join me in congratulating ZV Pate Inc. as the 2018 Business of the Year.
Thanks. This is quite an honor for Zivvy Pate, and I accept this on behalf of all of the employees at Zivvy Pate and related companies. This kind of sets the stage for the big boat of Scotland County and surrounding area. And the coach has already told us what we all need to do. So let's make it happen and make this a better community.
If I could ask Matt to come back up here for just a second. We all know what the great job that Matt's done this year. You can tell with all the enthusiasm and the support we have. So, of course, we want to recognize Matt for all the work that he's done. I've thoroughly enjoyed working with him, and again, I hope I can do half as much as Matt's done this year. So, Matt.
They thought it couldn't be done. I did it.
Matt's so happy to have survived. He's worked so hard. Thank you again, Matt. I'd like to recognize the board members who are continuing their service this year, so please stand as I call your name and remain standing, and we'll hold our applause to the end. Teresa Alexander, Paul Baldessar, Kenny Bethay, Paul Brooks Jr., John Campbell, Michael Clark, Leslie Kornauer, Margaret Dickinson. Dickerson, sorry, Margaret. Ron Gibson, Dr. Ron Hargrave, Jim Mason, Charles Nichols, Kevin Patterson, Dorothy Tyson, and Mark Ward. Thank you, board members. I'm also pleased to recognize our new board members this year, so if you would please stand as I call your name and remain standing. Sam Fulton, Scott Johnson, Walt Jones, and Jonathan Lewis. Thank you, new board members. You know, our theme for this year and what we've talked about, and I can't do a better job than Coach Bailey. I don't think anybody here could. But we're really talking about growing together. It's something that I think most of us believe in passionately, or we wouldn't be here. The past year, we've experienced the power of what growing together looks like through the things that Matt has mentioned, the collaborations, the downtown event that was held in the spring with many different groups coming together, the Scotland Foundation, the Arts Council, the city, the other groups that Matt mentioned. The After 5 events downtown brought everyone together, and you can feel it. It made a big difference. The Oyster Roast is always a great example of that. It's supported by St. Andrews at the Equestrian Center, and it's a great time. And finally, of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention what these ladies have done with 'Tis the Season. They were able to start that, but they worked together with the city of Laurinburg. They worked with the Christmas parade volunteers in the chamber. They worked with so many different groups and pulled them together around a common theme. They provided some of the vision. They showed the goal, Coach Bailey. They showed where we're trying to go. And for me, that's very empowering. They showed us what's possible. So we really created, and we could feel it, an extraordinary experience in our community during the month of December. So we've seen the power of that. Coach Bailey talked about it tonight, but he's demonstrated it with his team this year. Nobody believed they could do what they did, but the Fighting Scots did the work. They were not only in the boat, they were rowing pretty hard, weren't they, Coach? And they made it to the state championship against long odds. So this year, what we're going to do is we're going to build on this momentum. We're going to have more co-sponsored events. We need to develop these partnerships. We need to continue what we've started in 2018. You're going to see the Spring Fest event, hopefully be even bigger this year downtown. You're going to see Laurinburg After 5 downtown this year. Our chamber is a great place. It offers all the members the opportunity to be a part of this growing together. This really is the boat. We have networking events, committees, referrals. Membership is not just the private businesses. Membership includes professionals, nonprofit organizations, and all of our local government members. So here at the Chamber, you can get involved. You can be heard. You have an opportunity to be not only in the boat, but a part of the team that's rowing us to the goal. So I'd ask you tonight to continue to support this Chamber through your membership, but even more importantly, to consider how you can engage others with your positive actions, with your leadership, by what you do, both inside the Chamber and outside the Chamber. Together, we are going to help Laurinburg and Scotland County. We can continue to help this community and make this community grow and prosper if we work together. So that's my vision. That's the goal this year. And I believe that we can do it, and I'm really glad to be here with all of you. So thank you very much. Here.
Thank you, Jay. It's time now for the presentation of the Dormegan Mcclain Community Youth Service Award. So I'd like to introduce Steve Mcclain, who's father to Chris Mcclain, who is one of the young adults that the award is named for, to present this year's award. And come on up, Steve.
Thank you, Gary. Jackie and Joe Dormegan and my wife Allison could not be here tonight, but on behalf of the Dormegan families and the Mcclain families, we'd like to thank the Chamber for the opportunity to present this award. Our Dormegan Mcclain Youth Service Award recipient this year is a very impressive young leader who has exemplified all of the criteria for the award, but most notably, she's exhibited a strong willingness and a desire to serve. We would like to honor her tonight for her service to our community. This A honor roll student at Scotland High School maintains a 4.43 GPA and ranks high in all academic areas. She's attended the Governor's School of North Carolina and received a certificate of academic achievement acknowledging very high English and reading scores. In addition, she has received the Arby's Academic Excellence Award and the Pizza Inn Outstanding Citizenship Award, which signifies outstanding performance and lasting contributions to Scotland High School. She is the president of the Beta Club, president of the Student Government Association student body, the secretary for the Future Business Leaders of America. She's the vice president of the HOSA, a former secretary of the Anchor Club, and she's in the National Honor Society. She has received the Nick Pickwick Scotland High Scholar Athlete Award for Outstanding Academic Achievement. And speaking of athletics, in addition to her academics, she has been a cheerleader for 4 years at Scotland High School and spends many weekends traveling and competing, one of her many passions. She's played JV softball for 2 years and is a member of the track team. While all of these achievements and responsibilities are very impressive, what really stands out about our recipient this year is her character and her willingness to serve. It has been said of her that she represents all that is good and hopeful for our future. Members of the Pilot Club of Laurinburg said of her in referring to her participation with the Youth Anchor Club and the Adult Pilot Club, she has been a true ambassador and representative for our community. Another one said of her, she impressively represents Scotland County for our youth and for our adults. She was one of the students chosen recently to accompany Governor Roy Cooper as he toured our county and our community. And finally, she also volunteers as an adaptive PE coach for those with special needs at Scotland High School. She does this every week. Her compassion for those with special needs is highlighted by her current endeavor. She's leading a local effort to bring to Scotland County an event called A Night to Shine. This is an event sponsored by the Tim Tebow Foundation, and it's a one-time chance for teenagers and young adults with special needs to experience the joy of a prom night just for them. When she heard of A Night to Shine, she knew that it had to happen. And her passion has been contagious as she's worked really hard. As a member of the First Baptist Church, she's recruited the church to help them sponsor the event, and she's working hard to get a wide variety and diverse group to help her with this. Someone said of her and her passion for this event, she is indeed unique in her love for people with special needs. She is the kind of servant leader who is able to bring out the best in all of us. This young lady certainly meets all the requirements of this award and serves as an example and an inspiration to us all to work hard, to be our best as individuals and as a community. Please welcome and celebrate the successes and service of our 2019 Dormegan Mcclain Youth Service Award winner, Miss Allie Andrews.
Thank you so very much, but I feel that I must give credit where credit is due. I could not have even understood how incredible those with special needs are if it hadn't been for Mr. Larry Lee, who gave me the opportunity to work with someone with special needs on a weekly basis. And it has been the most rewarding experience I've ever had the opportunity to experience. I also would like to thank Scotland High School and all of the support that it has given me throughout the 4 years I have been here. And I cannot say that I would be where I am now if I had not been a student at Scotland High School. Thank you, Mr. Edkins. Thank you all of Scotland High School staff, as well as the student body who just encourages me every day to be my best self. I would also like to thank Reverend Barry Schaffner for just allowing us and being so generous to us for using his event space. And I would like to thank Mr. Alvin Breeden for all that he has done for us as we are going about this and as we are preparing for this incredible night. Thank you also to First Baptist Church, because without their agreement to host this event and without its members doing all that they do for me and for this event, I can't say that it would happen as miraculously as it is going to. I came here with the understanding that I would speak about Night to Shine, and I was shocked by being rewarded and recognized for my part in it. Thank you so very much.
Our next award to be presented tonight is the Dunbar Mccoy Quality of Life Award. And to give that presentation, Judge John Horn. Why is that a tongue twister? John?
Thank you, Gary. You know, it's not very often that you have the honor of presenting an award of this nature, but it's even more rare that you have the opportunity to do it when the person receiving the award you consider to be a good friend and a partial mentor to you. This individual watched me come to Laurinburg in 1972 as a skinny, full head of hair, short, inexperienced lawyer, and grow into a fat, bald-headed old man. But it is with great pleasure that I present this award. Our recipient was born in Atlanta, Georgia, the second of 5 children, and his family moved to Laurinburg in 1948. After graduating from high school at the age of 17, his father signed for him to enter the United States Marines, and he served his country in the Korean War. His nominator describes him as a giver, generous to a fault. He's the most optimistic person one will ever meet, and he tries to find good in everyone and everything. He has the ability to take a project, find the right people, and motivate them to accomplish the goal of the project. He is hands-on and does not ask anyone to do something he would not do. He always acknowledges a job well done, gives out awards, and does everything he can to shine the light on others. The nominator then goes on to say he would not be happy with me for divulging this information about his nature. He served on the Scotland Healthcare System Board of Trustees in the late 80s and early 90s. He's a 60-year Shriner,
having reached 33rd degree and ambassador status with the Oasis Temple based in Charlotte. In the 70s, he started the Laurinburg Shriners Fish Fry, which for many years was the fish fry here in Laurinburg and the major fundraiser for the club. He has seen and experienced firsthand and also helped the work done by the Shriners Children's Hospital and Burn Centers and has raised money for those projects. He's a 60-year member of the American Legion, and in the early 2000s, he led a rejuvenation effort of the local chapter as its membership and assets were in a declining condition. In an effort to keep the park true to its history, he started the barbecue fundraiser and formed a committee to handle the renovation of Legion Field and its surrounding properties. With the help of the city of Laurinburg and several other individuals, all of the buildings were renovated, along with the tennis court and the tennis center. The outfield fence, the advertising signs, the field, the bleachers, the bathroom facilities were also renovated under his leadership. He initiated a memorial garden next to the Legion hut and sold engraved bricks with information about soldiers and service to their country. The original goal was 2 monuments and 100 bricks, but there are now 9 monuments and 1,200 plus veterans represented in this garden. The Laurinburg Optimist Club was chartered here in 1961, and while not a charter member, he joined 4 months later and is now the longest serving member of that club, which operates Little League baseball and softball, oratorical contest, essay contest, junior golf, support of the boys and girls homes at Lake Waccamaw, and other opportunities for local youth, all at no cost or expense for that youth. He is the past president and 2-time Optimist of the Year, and the club created an award in honor of him and N.W. Quick, which is presented yearly to the individual giving extended service to the club. He chaired the first Christmas tree sale project in this county, the first fish fry project, and his business interests have sponsored at least 1 Little League baseball team since 1965. He has also coached, umpired, and worked in the concession stand since the beginning of Little League baseball in this town. His wife is a lifelong member of St. John's Methodist Church in Gibson, and several years ago, he decided it was time for him to become more active in the Christian faith and in the church. The church had previously established a screen door food ministry, which basically provided canned goods for the needy. Our recipient, along with Tom Whitlock and other church members, greatly expanded this project to the point they now own refrigeration and storage buildings, and are a food bank serving 125 plus people each month. He and his wife provided the seed money to begin this project at the church. He and his committee of retired gentlemen go weekly to pick up food from Aberdeen, Campbell Soup, or wherever the need requires to obtain the supplies for the food bank. For the last several years, he and his wife have sponsored a scholarship at Richmond Community College for the School of Nursing for a student from Scotland County. If you've not recognized this gentleman by now, let me give you some revealing clues and a little bit of Laurinburg history to go with it. When his family moved to Laurinburg in 1948, his father leased and operated a hotel on Main Street in Laurinburg called the Chetwynd Hotel. It was located on the current site of the Scotland County Schools administrative offices and parking lot. In 1995, he and his brother built 2 bowling alleys, one in Laurinburg, one in Lumberton, both being called Varsity Lanes. They operated these bowling alleys until the 70s when they were sold. The current AutoZone building housed the original Laurinburg bowling alley. In 1956, Riggins Enterprises was formed, with the Laurinburg Motel then being built in 1957, and the following year the Plantation Restaurant. The first businesses to be built on the then new bypass around downtown Laurinburg. In 1975, a complete renovation and name change occurred, with the result of what is now known as the Scotland Inn and Scotland Inn Restaurant, subsequently Champs Fine Foods and Spirits. In 1993, the Riggins Company was founded and now does business as the Hampton Inn, and it developed the adjacent property behind it, which is called the Colony. In 1966, he and his brother bought Pine Acres Lodge and Restaurant, the restaurant now operating as Jerry's Delicatessen, but is also now being solely operated by his brother. In 1997, he developed Deerfield Subdivision in 2 separate phases, and it now contains some beautiful homes. Years ago, he served on the board of directors of a local savings and loan called Hamlet Savings and Loan. It was located on the site of the current Bob's Jewel Shop. It was purchased by First Southern Savings of Ashboro, where Bill also served on the board, before it was sold to Centura Bank, and eventually now it is the Royal Bank of Canada. And now for the best part of this man. In 1957, he married the love of his life, Sarah Catherine Bean, and this union produced 3 boys. As of 20 days ago, they have now been married for 62 years. Would you please stand and join me in honoring my friend and the 2019 Dunbar McCoy Quality of Life Award winner, William B. Bill Riggins.
I'm humbled that you offered me this plaque. I never expected something like this. I don't work for plaques, and I don't appreciate the novelty of a plaque, but I appreciate the novelty of work. Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for joining us. Thank you for your continued support of the Chamber. Again, thanks to all the sponsors, and congratulations to tonight's award recipients. We would like to get a group picture of all the award winners, so at the end, if you would please come up to this area so we can do that. And now finally, to bring things to an end tonight, I want to call Jay Todd back to the stage.
Thank you, Gary. I'd like to thank Gary for the great job tonight serving as our MC. Thank you, Gary. A special thank you to the representative of the Scotland High School Anchor Club. And thank you to Live Media Company for videoing tonight's event. Thank you very much. Great job with the sound and all the work you guys are doing. One more reminder, just to reiterate, if you would please, any award winners, meet me at the stage after the meeting for some pictures. And that concludes tonight's program. Have a safe night and prosperous 2019. Thank you.